Hi, Fola.
Hi, Crystal.
How are you
Hello.
today?
Doing well, thanks. You?
Right. I'm really good. Especially in this era, this 2019, 2020, and so we're going to talk about the brilliant era of 2020 approaching and what your intentions are, and for 2020, and what my intentions are for 2020, and we're coming into I see more and more of it. You got science and ancient philosophy coming together, and it's brilliance at its best. Yeah, it's brilliance at its best.
No, that's awesome. Yeah, and I think it's important that we talk about the intentions, right? It's like once we get to the end of December, you hear people having these conversations of like, what are my New Year resolutions and all that. And we kind of like forget how important it is to set goals for ourselves, like those nice smart goals. Like, are they actually something that we can attain with like a that we're going to be reliable enough to meet on a certain timeline, right? So I do think it's important. Otherwise, we can just live life so aimlessly, right? And then a month passes without the right support in place, and then we're all of a sudden we're in February wondering like, what? Where are our goals again?
Hmm. A lot of
So
times people will have goals just for their body.
yeah,
I'm
that's
gonna lose
true.
10 pounds and I'm
That's
gonna get
true.
like ripped, you know, or I'm gonna eat a little cleaner, or whatever the case is. And yeah, you fall off the wagon, or whatever the case is. But I think also goals in the sense of like a spiritual goal,
Hmm.
connecting with your spiritual well-being, and where your state of mind is,
Yeah.
where you hope for your state of mind to be.
Yeah, so it'd be like a mind, body, soul sort of holistic approach to your next year resolutions, or what does resolution even mean? I feel like we should look this up.
Yeah, let's look it up.
I'll look it up, but you know what I mean? Like,
I know exactly what you mean.
uh, for sure, having that balance is going to be more beneficial. Because, and it's funny you say that because I'm thinking, like, even this morning we went swimming with my daughter, and we used to have a membership at the gym.
Hmm.
It was kind of like, oh, like I want to get another membership. I'm just trying to think, what do I want to do? And I'm like, do I start in January? But oh, I hate January. When I used to work out, like January time is just ridiculous, and it takes like over a month, I'd say, for things to kind of die. You know, when there's people who say they're going to continue working out, they fall away because
Hmm.
the goals don't work. Which that's what happens. I think if we don't have that like commitment or that vision, it's so easy to like fall off track, right?
Hmm.
And whether it's an accountability person or a friend or whoever that can kind of help you stay on track, or a coach or whoever, I think that definitely is important.
I think it's good to
Otherwise,
have friends that keep you accountable, and you keep
hmm
them accountable, and or a mentor, or whatever the case is,
hmm
right? For
hmm
sure,
hmm
definitely. Yeah, I have my girlfriend Luba. She's my workout buddy. We go for hot yoga together and stuff like
uh,
that. Show up on the mat, giggle sometimes when we're not supposed to, and it's
well, and
good.
that's a good point because it's about making it fun, right? If you
Hmm.
hate it, then why would you do it?
Hmm.
Whatever that might be,
Hmm.
right?
Yeah.
So yeah, here it says the definition of resolution: the act or process of resolving. Okay, thank you, Merriam-Webster Dictionary. The act of answering, the act of determining, a formal expression of opinion, will, or intent voted by an official body or assembled group. These are a lot
Uh-huh.
of different definitions that I feel.
That's kind
So,
of weird, actually, now that I think of it.
the act or process of coming to a solution, I guess, is kind of how I would, So I guess you make a resolution, meaning that there's a problem that you're trying to solve, which kind of like, we were talking about this the other day about having to, um, when we talk about healing, right? Like when there's a lot of that work, like, oh, there's healers and people are going through healing, which like I use that a lot, right? But it's like that kind of is entailing or meaning then that something's broken, right? But it's like
Hmm.
we're not really broken. So are we really resolving something, or are we aiming for something more? I think that's kind of the, that's more maybe the more positive way to think about
I
it. It's
think
like there's
so too,
nothing
actually. Yeah.
wrong that like
Yeah.
you need to lose 10 pounds, like you're fat and like ugly. No, it's like, why do you want to lose the weight, right? Is it because you want to feel better about yourself? You want to be healthier so you can run around with your kids or whatever the case might be, like looking at it in that way versus oh, like I don't like this. This isn't how I should be.
Vanity.
It needs to like be
a fine
fit.
line. Yeah. A fine line of vanity. Or is it for the betterment of your health, right? And it should be for the betterment of your health. And you should never shame your body in the sense that, oh, I need to lose 20 pounds so I look good in that bikini or whatever the case is. For the simple fact that our body holds a memory of any negativity. So if you're saying to your body that I'm overweight, you're telling your body that you're overweight, that it's inadequate, but it allows you to walk planet Earth. So I don't think we should be sending that message to our body at any time, right? So what do you think, Fola?
Yeah, I know, I totally agree with that. And like, I think the times I lost a lot of weight, it wasn't because I was focusing at that point on losing weight.
Yeah.
It was about me changing my body to like help provide more like support. Like the healthiest that I was like really just looking at like I'm strong, right?
Yeah.
Like I can do these certain like different exercises or whatever, and I can like run, and I could do, and I just felt very like strong, right? And that was back then. That was my focus then. But now it's like I had this realization not that long ago. I was like looking in the mirror. I was like, oh my god, like I just like was so in love with like how I looked. I haven't really had this. You know, I was thinking even like when I looked good, there's still this like kind of like when I looked, say the way I thought as a fitness, not model, but I was kind of aspiring to try to do like bodybuilding, the fitness training. Like I had like to me like a bit more like abs and like this like toneness, right? But the other day when I was looking, I was like, wow, Fola, like you look so sexy. Like I fell in love with like every part, and I realized I'm like I haven't really had that before.
That's nice.
You know, yeah, I was
it's
like,
nice to see yourself in that perspective.
Yeah,
it's beautiful.
Oh, it was so, because I'm like now you can own that, right? Like it's not like I feel, you know, there's obviously things I want to like shift about my appearance necessarily, but it's more about like being where it is now in the moment and being
appreciating your body for what it was.
Yeah.
It's interesting that you say, well, when I was in Bali, actually, I wanted to lose weight. I wanted to lose a good 8 pounds before I went to Bali. And I couldn't shed the pounds. I just couldn't. And then when I was in Bali, I was having body talk with my body every day. I was off work for 2.5 weeks. So I was truly tapped into the emotions in my body and listening to her and any sort of inner arousal. And I was showing up on the mat anywhere from like 3 to 6 hours a day. And it was great. That once I validated that weight and said, you know what, I love you. I love you for your stretch marks. I love you for your cellulite. I love your scars. I love you. The weight went away. Instead of resisting it, I accepted it and it went away. And I started to see my cellulite diminish and the stretch marks go lighter. So I understand where you're coming from. I started to see shift and see my body in a different light almost. And it was brilliant actually.
Yeah, that's neat. Because then I do think that's the case. You hear all the time people, as soon as you kind of leave it from I need to lose weight or whatever, then it will allow whatever it is that you truly want, right? If you can stay focused a bit on just that happiness piece, right?
Yeah, just validating, just accepting and saying, oh, I love this cellulite. Oh, I love, and then everything just kind of started to kind of fade. And just, it's nice.
And I think that's a good way to start.
And you stand taller too, like your
your confidence, everything.
Your confidence and the way you hold, and the way you radiate. Yeah.
So like I think it's important then, say before you one gets clear on the goals, or to really start visualizing how things are going to play out. Like, okay, this is my goal. Maybe by the first month I want to obtain this thing or whatever. It's like we need to maybe do that gratitude piece of like being thankful for what is, right? Like all those parts. So
that it allows you to show up on planet Earth, that your body allows you to be healthy and full of stamina.
Yeah, and all the things, whatever it might be. If there's another goal that's like external to the physical, like you want a new vehicle or a new job or whatever, like giving that gratitude piece for what is now, and then that kind of helps set the stage for, okay, like this is where I've been and where now, what do I want to do in terms of where do I want to go. So I guess that might be a good conversation then, to hear like what our hopes are for 2020, which I think overall everyone, from what I hear from people, and 2019's been kind of like a really shitty, not shitty bad year, but like definitely a lot of like inner stuff coming up, a lot of things we've had to clear and work through.
Transitioning.
That's
I
helped
think a lot
us.
of people are just kind of transitioning with new belief systems and transitioning. A lot of self-reflection,
So what do you think will be your 2020?
So my 2020, my 2020, I want to have more of an intimate relationship with my body, in the sense understanding how she communicates and understanding my vibration, my emotions that are any sort of trapped trauma, any emotions that are trapped in my body. I'm going to show up on the mat for that. Not to lose 10 pounds. It's to shift that, move that energy that might be stuck in my root chakra or my heart center for that matter. And that's why I'm going to show up on the mat or go for a walk or go for a run, or I started dance classes. Burlesque dance classes, just for fun. Just for fun. It's kind of like Zumba. So that would be my New Year's. I don't want to say resolution. What should we call it?
That's a really good question.
Yeah, what should we call it?
I mean, I just like vision.
What we aspire for 2020.
Inspiration.
Yeah, to have more of an intimate relationship and let go of any sort of locked energy or trauma in my body. And then I want to pay it forward. I want to pay it forward to humanity, and I want to pay it forward in 2020 for the love of humanity and Earth and everything that I've been taught. In the sense, I want to give that back and pay it forward. On a spiritual level, teach more meditation and that kind of stuff in 2020. It's a beautiful gift. And on a spiritual level, to stay connected to my rituals and my routines and doing my 2 days, like I do meditation twice a day minimum, morning and night. And anything in between is just is something, we all get irritated throughout the day or something, so then turning inwards instead of getting upset on the outside, or turning inwards and what's happening internally, so that I can shift that energy, so I can come to a vibration of love and compassion and kindness, as well.
No, that sounds awesome.
So that'd be my mind and my body, and then my spirit, connecting with my spirit. Staying connected with my spirit, staying tapped in, tuned in, plugged in with my spirit, my spiritual well-being. She came here for a reason, and I want to serve her. Okay.
Yeah. No, that sounds good. So how
about you?
How are you going to? Oh wait, no. Get me tied. But I guess, like, what are you going to do if you can't obtain those things? Do you know what I mean? Or how are you going to ensure, better way to phrase that. How are you going to ensure you obtain those or focus on those throughout the year? Because I always think of, like, these goals, like, if you don't do it, then this is my negative reinforcement mind. If you don't do it, then what happens, But.
Well, I don't think I really have much of a choice. I think that if you Fola, that we have to show up for our body. Yeah. We have to do some sort of exercise for our body. And especially as we get older with age, we have to start unpacking and decluttering of any stagnant energy, any sort of trauma from years. It could be trauma from our childhood or whatever the case is. So it's a matter of survival. Really, you either create an illness in your body, or you show up in some form of exercise, whether you're running or, you join like agility course, or you start dancing or mountain climbing or whatever your thing is, right?
Some activity.
Some sort of an activity. And it's not healthy not to show up and move your body in some form, especially if you have trauma. You have to move that energy. It gets stuck in the heart center, it gets stuck in the root chakra, and you got science proving that now.
Okay. So you're just saying you're going to do it no matter what because you have to.
Well, I've already been doing it once or twice a week, showing up on the mat. Do you know what I mean? Yeah, for sure, definitely. And then my meditation. Sometimes I get busy and forget. But I try to stick to a 6-day a week, 7-day a week meditating, whether it's just for 3 minutes in the morning or gratitude. Every night before I go to bed, I say, thank you for this and this and this and this, and also thank you for my challenges, because I know they're going to turn into my blessings. I'm going to learn from this.
For sure. Okay. No, that's good. Yeah, no, that totally works. Those are my resolutions.
That's your resolutions?
My inspirings. I mean, yeah, I feel like for me a big part is about that connecting more with the activity of my body, like movement of my body, because that's something I've been aiming to do. I've been doing Taebo.
Good for you.
Sometimes. I was on a real streak not that long ago, but like, because there's certain activities that I like.
Yeah.
And especially with like the year starting off in the winter, I'd like to do more outside, which is something I've been aiming for the last couple of years, and it's been happening. I'm like not as fearful of outside in the winter time.
What kind of winter activities do you like doing?
Well, I'd like to do like cross country skiing, and that's one thing.
That's good for your calves and your thighs. Yeah.
So, but yeah, usually I just go out like kind of hiking in the wilderness, and it's nice. Wilderness. It's hardly the wilderness, but so my hope is to do more of that, and like maybe like join a gym again, but not having to overcommit myself like I used to, because I'm like, okay, you have to be realistic here, Fola. I think it was about a year ago we signed up for the gym, and then we were going a bit, but it was really hard, I found, with like taking my daughter and having to like check her into the kids' place, and then and then I have to go. But now that she's a bit older, I'm like, okay, it's maybe worth trying again, but not putting so many of these like high expectations that it has to be like 5 or 6 times a week, right? Again, it has to be something that we can attain, that's a reasonable goal, right? With life, like the life plans. So I'm really trying to just be more creative about how I'm going to go about like taking care of my body, because for me it's just more so that I have that like energy, because I found when I was working out before, I didn't have any of this like spiritual knowings, but I could feel like the energy inside. Like I felt that like heat, I felt like the movement, and it really made me go through my day like as in a productive way. So I'm wondering now that I can actually, am I more sensitive to energy? How will having that kind of as the backing, is like building up more energy within because of physical exercise, how will that help like all those other areas, like you're saying, right, like the mind and the soul? So I'm interested with that. So that's definitely my goal, but it's not to be like, I need to lose weight and do all these things. It's I'm like, well, I just want to be like healthy and my body be happy, and that I have like the ability to move. That's a huge thing for me. So in whatever capacity that looks like, so I'm not bored, right? Because if I stick to one, it might be too much. I get like, it just becomes stagnant. I get bored with that. And then for me, it's a lot with like the business, bringing value into the world and like supporting people. That's somewhere that I'm really like, I feel like it's really going to blossom in the next, like in 2020. And so just really tapping into like my creativity. I'm doing more like artwork, things like that. I want to really see how like tapping in more with like art and creativity is going to help with bringing like inspiration to me to bring that value into the world, right? And then being aware of like my worth and the value that I have in the world in order for that to like manifest in all these other ways. So that's a huge part. And then just really for me, it's about like just kind of like being more okay with me and like being authentically me and not having to like show up in certain ways because I think that's how I should show up around certain people or be a certain way, and like not judging myself so much around that. Like I just want to be okay with me, whatever that might look like. And that even if it might seem like, oh, she's being an asshole or bitch, like whatever, it's like, oh, okay, well, that's what I'm doing in the moment. So because that's kind of hard for me because it's like on one side being okay with being an asshole and then the other being like this caring person who wants to nurture the world. It like to me in my head right now it still clashes kind of. So I'm trying to figure that out. So I trust like 2020 will be the year I fully am able to integrate all that. So those are really the ones like I'm working on some vision board stuff right now because I realize I haven't been doing that as much. And I do believe, like when I look back, I have a couple of vision boards in my closet. I'm like, holy shit, like everything on the fucking boards like has come and it's weird.
I did a vision board as well at the beginning of this year, and I would say about 70% of it, you know. And so I'm gonna do the same. Redo my vision board somewhere in December or January, and then just set new intentions, like what we're talking about right now. And visualization is huge. It's huge. That's why meditation and all that kind of stuff, right? Yeah, and seeing it, drawing it, painting it. Yeah, you know.
Yeah, and I think using all these different mediums to like help support, you know, because like there's still there's reasons why all those things haven't come into existence yet, right, or manifested, and that's about getting into the why is that, right? So like visualizing it, really tapping into the emotions about it, journaling around like why is it that I haven't yet like obtained this thing or what's preventing me from obtaining it, right? And then just trusting whatever answers come up. But I think we need to definitely, the vision boards are great because then you can see it as like a daily reminder, because I don't know, like I'm not that visual in my opinion. I feel like it's always improving, if I can call it that, or like becoming more of an art for me to actually see something. And like now I feel like I can actually drive, and I'll do that as I drive. I'll like think about the things that I'm like kind of where I want to see my life going, right? And I can really feel it, whereas before I didn't have that ability.
It's important to feel it, feel it throughout your complete chakra centers, right? Yeah, through your digestive system and everything like that.
Yeah, the charge of it is very, because that's what you're going for. That's really what you want, is that feeling, not the stuff, right? Yeah. I think the stuff or the material thing is just like that extra piece, right? If you can see the vision board or see whatever it is in front of you, and that's a reminder, that helps elicit that feeling inwardly, and then it's just like it's gonna manifest.
And put your faith in divine timing, that it's all manifesting at the right time, and the universe is in flow with you, and that
and that you have to still do things, I guess. That's something. I mean, we could maybe just try to like envision, you know, if you were just laying on your couch all day envisioning the like getting healthy, working out, but you actually don't get up and work out. Like, are you gonna, do you know what I mean? Like, nothing's gonna change.
But I like going dancing now, or showing up on the mat too. You know, I like the end result. Is what I really enjoy. I like the end result. I like a good night's sleep, or I'm not thinking too much about the illusion of the day. I'm not in the now. I'm not in the moment. I find when I show up on the mat, I'm always in the moment. Oh, okay. Especially a vinyasa pose or dance classes. You don't have time to think of all the other stuff when you're like following a teacher and they're going one pose into the next pose, into the next. You're tapping into your vibration. You're really, really mindful, right? And then you're moving that stagnant energy as well. You're so cute. I love you.
I was just, but you know, it's
you might have something there. Can we just lie?
No, it won't work. Like, that's what I'm saying. It won't work.
We're shedding the pounds.
Like it's like the
Yeah.
example they say people who want like to find a loved one or like a significant other, right?
Mhm.
It's like you are waiting for the universe to bring forth like your boyfriend, right? But it's like, but if you don't do the things to get yourself out there,
Mhm.
if you don't go out and like maybe take that offer on a blind date, right? Is that your
Yeah.
friends say, hey, we'll set you up, or going on like a dating app or doing something like that. If you just sit at home, lay on your couch and watch like Netflix or whatever, like nothing is going to change, right?
Mhm.
But it can be hard to have to actually go out and do those things, right? So I guess
Mhm.
little by little, right? Like don't
Mhm.
overdo it
No, you
with
don't
now
overdo it.
signing up to do like 6, 7 like yoga classes in a week or whatever, right? Like do a little by little. And then I think too, doing that like 21-day habit forming, like we say it takes 21 days to create a habit.
Mhm.
Maybe find something small, like whatever it might be, like super small. Like maybe it's just you want to make sure your house is clean all the time, or like enjoy your space. Maybe it's like, okay, for 21 days, you're going to make sure you do the dishes every day, even if it's like one dish. Don't let it sit in the sink,
Mhm.
And then start seeing, I think once you build up you make sure something small that you're doing it, or it could be meditation, right? 21 days you're going to meditate. Make sure you set it a reminder so it does, like, you get that reminder every day to do it. And then by the end of 21 days, you're more like, there's a higher chance that you'll be successful at continuing it on, because at that point it's become a habit. Otherwise, it's like 2 weeks or whatever, we kind of stop, right?
Mhm.
If we're not really connected into the why of why we're doing things or whatever, like if it's for wellness or just to bring that more joy or happiness into our lives. So
Abraham Hicks talks a lot about that joy, adding more joy in your life, always adding more joy. Any sort of, yeah, do it. And that's how you're manifesting into reality, is by adding more joy, more happiness, and it's igniting at that root chakra, right?
Well, yeah, because if you're not going to bring anything into fruition if you hate it, like,
Mhm.
well, you might if it's something you really hate.
I think that comes
But-
with self-reflection, though, figuring out what your joy is, figuring
Yeah.
out what your happiness is, trying new things, trying new activities, trying new hobbies, change it up a little bit in 2020.
Yeah.
Do something completely out of the norm, that you wouldn't normally do, and you're creating healthy new neural paths. I was, you got therapists and psychologists saying, like, okay, you have trauma, so you want to create healthy new neural paths. You have to implement something blue, something different that you would normally do out of the ordinary. So, yeah.
I can see that.
I think that's also my 2020, is just adding more, just different things. If something comes up and it's unique and it's different and somebody asks me to try it, I'll say sure.
Be a yes person.
Yeah, not always a yes person, but a yes person.
Yeah, use your
judgment, right? But
sure.
if it seems interesting and out of the norm, then try it.
Yeah.
I have some friends that won't do that, but I definitely have the personality to do it.
Well, yeah, because you never know where that interaction's gonna take you,
or what you're going to take from that workshop or that course, or who you're going to meet that day that maybe that's going to impact you for 5 minutes or a lifetime. Yeah,
for sure.
Definitely.
Sweet. So yeah, let us know, what are your guys's inspirations for 2020, the big year. What are your fears about it, maybe as we step into it? Definitely journal around some of these things and get clear in whatever way that looks like for you, because it's just around the corner.
Intention, drishti, point of focus. What's your drishti? What's your point of focus? What is your intention? How do you want to show up? How do you want other people to see you, for the highest good of all? What do you think?
Oh, for sure. That's why I've been buying lots of new clothes lately. Like when we went on a trip,
Good
and
for
we went like maybe a little, not over the top. I shouldn't say that, because part of me feels like that's also part of the life that I desire, is like that luxury abundance, but like wearing like new nice clothing and like jackets, and like we just felt so different than how I usually would dress. But it's like, okay, you gotta like maintain if you want to maintain a certain lifestyle and like appearance, and you have to like show up that way, right, on a consistent basis. So
you have to feel it in the vibration as well, that you are worthy of it. A lot of people,
that too,
worthy of it. Yeah. Understanding your worth. What is your worth?
Yeah.
You know, I think that we have to turn inwards every once in a while and kind of reflect and say, well, where's this, like, I'm not worthy of this new top, but I am worthy. I work hard. And I am worthy of, you know, whatever the case is, right? So maintaining that vibration internally, that energy, right? That frequency that you're in, and just knowing, and you'll feel it. It's an inner arousal. You'll feel it at your root chakra. It's an inner arousal of like, I am worthy. I'm excited.
That self-love.
Yeah, that self-love, that self-nurture. Right?
Yeah.
And it's also your body talking to you, right? Yeah.
I'm excited. 2020.
Yeah, I'm excited for 2022 as well. Definitely step it up a notch.
Yeah, and we'll for sure be interested to hear what you guys have to say about this, what's worked for you in the past or not. So leave us some comments or send us messages. You can find us on Facebook World you can say your lovely name.
Crystal Lozinski.
And I'm
Crystalina Mary Lozinski.
Oh, yes. And you're also on LinkedIn.
Yeah, I'm on LinkedIn and I'm on Instagram. You bet.
Same names, hey?
Yeah.
Okay. And then I'm Fola Veritas, Facebook, Instagram, I think. And am I on LinkedIn? Is that one?
Yeah, you're on LinkedIn as well. Yeah, for sure.
She's always pushing me with the LinkedIn. Maybe I'll try to show up there more this year. We'll see what happens. Anyways, thanks so much for listening to the Connecting to Spirit podcast, and we'll catch you guys soon.
Thank you very much, Fola.
Bye.